Your boss is mad at you. What to do? Even though you have done all the work, you have moved the needle from A to B, they are not pleased with your performance. And you want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. My name is Lowell. I'm a collaboration coach and a workshop facilitator. I help teams boost their performance, giving them everything that they need to do their best work. So why is your boss mad? Number one, lack of transparency. When your boss cannot see what you're doing, they feel at risk and they feel out of control. Having transparency helps them to feel at ease about the work that is going on. They are able to see what is being done and able to track progress against the goal. This empowers them to go forth and share with their superiors to really showcase that they have a hold on what is going on. They are in the know, and where a risk arises, they're able to deal with it immediately. A lack of transparency of what is happening will break this down, and your boss will not be happy with the work you're doing, even if you're doing all the things. So you may be saying, but I'm providing reports, I'm having regular conversations, they know what's happening. I tell them every time they ask, and this may be true, but you have to be able to communicate in your boss's language. And your boss likewise has to communicate in their senior leadership's language also. So even though you're communicating in a way that you would feel happy with, find out how it is that they want to see this work mapped out. How do they want to receive progress on the work that you're doing? And the quickest way to do that is to have a roadmap. Having a roadmap that is easily accessible and that can be read at a glance is crucial to ensuring that people understand the work that is being done and how much work is left to get to the end goal. It also empowers them to be able to point out risks because they can see the entire roadmap. When you say, oh, we don't have enough resource here, or we might run out of money there, then they are able to action that by communicating that same message clearer to their superiors. So ensure that you're communicating your roadmap in a way that they can receive and then easily communicate it to other people as well. Another reason is a lack of understanding. Your boss might be mad at you because you're doing work that they do not understand. This is something that happens a lot with technical teams. So the technical teams are working on a project and they need to communicate progress to the business. However, the technical team language does not align with business language, and so people do not understand what is being done. Everything is fine when things are going great, but when something falls over, there is a lot of blame, a lot of anger, and a lot of confusion because they don't understand what's going on. They feel more at risk, more exposed, and therefore they're going to take their wrath out on you. So, to prevent this from happening, it is vital that people understand what you're doing. And you can achieve this by asking them outright, do you understand why we're doing what we're doing? Do you understand the benefit that it will bring? And do you understand what it will take to get there? Now, this doesn't only lay on you as the person involved in the project or the person leading the project. Your boss also has to take accountability in wanting to understand more. They need to be genuinely interested in you as a person and the work that you're delivering, especially because you're passionate about the work that you're doing. Them not taking a keen interest in you will make it difficult for you to now build that relationship with them. So this is a co-creation process that needs to happen between superior and subordinate. Where the culture for this doesn't exist, then you need to find a way to set this straight. And this might require a conversation with your HR team. Another reason that your boss might be mad at you is because the value add isn't clear. This means that what you're producing in your initiative does not have a clear optic for the business that the business can understand. So you might be creating a lot of value, but if you cannot communicate that value effectively so that people understand the value you're creating, then even when that Even when the benefit is realized, people won't absorb the benefit. And this ties into design thinking and understanding your customer. Being able to deliver on the value that the customer desires will achieve maximum uptake and maximum satisfaction for the work that is delivered. So you might be delivering exactly the same thing. The benefit, the end result might be the same, but you have to ensure that that value is understood and that value is realized. Kind of like user acceptance testing. You have to make sure that it is now integrated into the process or accepted by the people who you're delivering it to. Now, when this happens and the end customer is happy and clearly reaping the rewards of what you've produced, it will make your boss happy because now they can communicate the realization of that value to their own superiors, to the wider business. Another reason why your boss might not be happy with the work that you're doing is that you're unclear about the resource requirements for getting the job done. And this is the case with very complex programs. You have to break down these work packages into the smallest items and then assign resource to those tiny items. It becomes quite time consuming when you're the one in charge of absolutely everything in the initiative. So when it comes to a large project, the first thing that you need to do once you have defined your strategy and defined the vision is to ensure that you have the right expertise. Bring in that project management expertise to break down the work into those small work packages and then work with that project manager to assign the resources to that. This can be further complicated if the program that you're delivering requires input from experts that you don't have direct access to. So you don't know what you don't know at the end of the day. It's important for you to identify all the stakeholders that are needed and assign the stakeholders and work with them to break down those work packages and assign the resources that are necessary to fulfill the program as a whole. And then build this up into a high-level roadmap with that minute breakdown behind it so that your boss can understand exactly what is required to fulfill the project. Where you do not have the time resource or the expertise resource to do this, you need to make that absolutely clear to your boss. Let them know, if I do not get this, we do not have a plan. And then you cannot communicate the benefit to the rest of the organization. This initiative will fail. If you're that upfront about it, they will find the resource and give it to you so that you can build out a robust plan that can be adhered to, where risk can be managed and their face can be saved. So this is one of the reasons why your boss might be mad at you. You need to ensure that your resource breakdown is as accurate as it can be. And that means going to the lowest level of detail for that project. Another reason why your boss might not be happy with you is ever-changing criteria. You had set out that this is what it is going to take to bring this to a reality. But every week or every month or whatever period you want to call it, something changes. And this constant changing is risky. Constant change is not a comfortable place to be in, especially when you're a senior leader and you are out of touch with the inner workings and the on-the-ground activity for the initiative. They're putting all of their trust in you. And when they're seeing this change and this flux in terms of the activities, it makes them wary and it makes them go on edge. The result of this might be them clawing back control from you and wanting to micromanage you and see every little bit of detail that you are working on. That's uncomfortable, but note that red flag, that sign is a clear sign for you that they feel like they're losing control. And to bring them back to where you need them to be, you need to address this head on. You need to be clear on what you expect to happen throughout the initiative. And this involves really good project management in terms of breaking down those tasks, but also highlighting where the risks are. When you highlight that there is a risk here because we don't know enough, then when the criteria changes around that point, it's fine because they preempted it. They were able to say to their bosses, okay, this area that we're approaching this quarter is really risky because we don't have the internal expertise to tackle this area. To mitigate against this risk, we are hiring this person, that person, and speaking to this other person that we know in our network. They are experts in that area. So what we've defined here, we expect it to change. Being able to mitigate that and then communicating that, your boss, being able to communicate that risk plan, that assessment, and that mitigation plan to their superiors, then they can get feedback from their superiors. Okay, let's allocate more budget here just in case. Let's expand the timeline by here. We expect for it to overrun because there's so much risk surrounding it. So later on in the quarter, if that risk does turn into an issue and it becomes real, they're not surprised. And like on the converse, if that doesn't materialize into an issue, then they're happy, and they're happy that we were able to mitigate and overcome the risk. Either way, face is saved from your boss's perspective, and you don't have to deal with any kind of discomfort. It's all about the planning. Now, caveating all of this, I must say that some bosses just expect too much. They think of you as an entrepreneur within the business and that you're going to put in 100 to 100 hour weeks or whatever it might be for that initiative to thrive. And where that might be okay in the short term, having it on a long-term basis where you're constantly doing this work over months and over years, it is not sustainable, and you should not accept this. Where you can, it is very important for you to raise this with your HR department, speak to your boss about it, and let them know that this is not sustainable. This way of working will drive you into the ground and cause you to burn out. And let me tell you, no job is worth burning out for. If your company is not able to address that situation and to shield you from that burnout, then you're better off just looking elsewhere. And I'm saying this as a warning for bosses as well. You do not want to lose your top talent by burning them out. Be aware of the workload of each of your people and ensure that they have what they need to work through the most hectic of times, but also don't overload them throughout the whole year or throughout a prolonged period. And you as the employee, you as part of a team, you need to be absolutely clear about what it is that you can do versus what it is that you cannot do. And this is responsibility that falls on your shoulders. You need to be able to plan and prioritize your work accordingly and communicate that to who it needs to be communicated with. And then as the leader, it is your responsibility to nurture your teams and give them what they need to do their best work. Now, as we can see, a lot of the points that we've covered here has to do with planning. And how do you create a robust plan? Well, I have something for you. I've created a 9-step project plan guide that is easy to use. All you need to do is click down into the show notes and access your free guide. It gives you 9 steps on how to create a robust, simple, effective project plan that anyone in your team can create, update, and continuously use. This is a plan that people will actually use. And it's a way for you to communicate the progress of your work to your boss so that they can understand where you're at versus where you're going. And that will stop them from getting mad. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe because it helps the channel grow and it tells me that you're enjoying this content and you want to see more. Now, don't forget to download your project guide in the show notes, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.